Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Sam Wu, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker. Undisclosed location, beautiful New Jersey. From the view of the Garden State, cross-continent, to the Michael J. Fox studios in Beverly Hills, California, it's Scotty, Sirius XM, Liquid Metal, and Beer Baron, as we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live.
Wow, that was kind of a passive-aggressive intro there.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
And crew. And crew.
Yeah. I was trying my best. I was in my off-season mode.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't really care. Hi, boys. How we doing? How's the playoff beards going? Sam, I see you don't have one. Is that because we're not in the playoffs?
Perhaps.
Well, yeah. Did you guys see?
I know.
Were you watching any of the games right now? Slavkovsky got lit up at center ice. I mean, reminiscent of some old school, like, 90s hockey over there. Damn. Chest.
Yeah, there's
right to shoulder right to the chest. It was chest right to the shoulder. Yeah, really.
Chest
really
right to the
that
shoulder.
one with my chest real good there. I blocked that shoulder check with my chest. Crozier was it? I think. I mean, but it was a clean hit. You know, obviously St. Louis is barking for a headshot, but man, that was one of those old school head down skating through the neutral zone, and he got lit up. Woo!
Yeah, that was a big no back in the day, man. You did that against like Scotty Stevens.
Know.
You were gonna be on the IR for the rest of the series. Dude, this whole playoffs.
That's what it reminded me of, man. Old Stevens hit.
Yeah, the whole playoffs in general have been like pretty hard hitting, like just. But it's the best. It's the absolute best. Let's be real. Like nothing else compares. Like, baseball is baseball.
Yeah. Who nailed? Who was it on the Canes? Didn't someone on the Canes get knocked out?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of dirty things going on in that Canes game, especially Game 4, which we can get into a little bit of a breakdown of like how the playoffs have been going because. Hey Sam, what's up?
Nicolishin. He got nailed by.
He got nailed, and he was in
clean
La La
hit.
Land.
That was a clean.
It was
hit.
a clean hit.
That's the same
It was a
thing.
clean
And that's
hit,
the
but
thing when Slavkovsky hit right at center ice. It was a clean hit.
Yeah, the one that Sam brought up though, that he was. I don't know if you watched the replay of that. Like, he's on his back and he's like trying to lift his body up, and he's just got that like that zombie. Like, oh, where am I? He was having a hard time getting off the ice. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see somebody get like concussed like that. But man, it has been a grind these playoffs so far.
I don't think the impact. Sorry, I don't think.
I was just going to say is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sam. Go.
No, I was just going to say I don't think the impact of that hit concussed him is when his head snapped back into the board. I think that's where he got it. You know, that's where. That's where it was a clean hit though. So it was just the collateral damage that happened.
Who was that on the Sens that like came in afterwards when I think it was Aho was like wrapped up in a headlock and he came in. It was just gave him a couple like quick little like, pop, pop, pop. You can't do that. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. Like in a scrum, it's all right to like
it's playoffs.
You can't just dude. This was pretty egregious.
Let him go.
I don't know. That one
They're all
was
hyped up after the
much.
hit. I get it. They're all hyped up after the hit, you know. Just like was it Philly and Pittsburgh? You got like 10 guys in the box. But just want to follow up what I was going to say. Like Sam mentioned the same exact thing though, that it's a clean hit. Those both weren't dirty hits like the Slavkovsky that just happened, and the Canes one. They were clean hits. So as long as you're not out there like really throwing elbows and head hunting and stuff like that, like hard hits are going to happen. Like that's something that has been missing from the game. Is everyone was just almost like stepping out of the way, and here they are like really going at it. I love it. I mean, you never want to see anyone get hurt, but it was a clean
hits.
hit, and this is a contact sport. Sometimes those things do happen, like.
Plus, you got to keep your head up. You got to keep your head up too.
Well, you got to keep your head up. Yeah,
not to blame the victim here, but you got to keep your head up.
But
if it happens on a clean
the NHL's
hit,
different. Yeah.
If it happens on a clean hit, though, like that's the risks people take when they're playing this game or any contact sport.
Yeah. Well,
and I also agree with Sam a lot. I think a lot of times too, it's like the whiplash effect where the injury happens.
Well, you're hitting concrete. Like you when you hit the ice, you're not hitting like in football. Like when you get hit, the turf is still like pretty unforgiving, but it's not as bad as getting hit by like a 35-mile-an-hour car and then smacking into the ice or into boards. So, I mean, like, it's definitely – there is that collateral damage for sure. And I just want to bring up a point. First of all, thank you to everybody that's listening and watching on all the platforms that Sam mentioned before. In the YouTube chat, the Meadowlander said, can you imagine how our less than strong – I'll clean that up – players would be in the playoffs? It's a great point and something that we'll get into too, because like you look at the teams in the playoffs and they're just absolutely hammering each other, and you worry about guys like Jack Hughes, you worry about Jesper Bratt, you worry about guys that are a little bit in a smaller frame. You want to see the team. Hopefully, Sunny Mehta will go out and beef this team up, because if they want to get into the playoffs, you're going to be playing with the big boys. And by all accounts so far,
as Sam said too. Keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jack and Jesper, they're going to get hit in the playoffs. I mean, they got to get used to that. They should be used to it by now. Unfortunately, they're not.
Yeah.
But they should be. They've only had a couple experiences, and we want to change that. But you brought up a nice point. What is, I don't even know, what's the name of the episode tonight, Sam Wu? You didn't tell us that in the pregame ceremonies here behind the scenes. What's the name?
It is what moves will Sunny Mehta make next? Along those lines.
There we go.
Like now that
it's predicting Sunny's next.
Predicting.
Predicting.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
predicting.
I got a couple. I got something for you.
Mm-hmm. It's
I wanted to run it past you.
Small? Big or small? Big or small?
Big. Come on, big.
Oh, big picture. Big picture. Okay.
Yeah, big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because, even though our good friend here in the red sweatshirt, you may know him as Ann Crew. We call him Beer Baron.
It's true.
Sam Wu barely introduces him, but, I still love you. That wasn't my idea, by the way. I just want to point that out. That was all the Woo. But a few years back, we can credit you with becoming obsessed with the Devils getting Brady Tkachuk, and talked about it quite often on this very program, to the point where there were Reddit posts.
People on Reddit
about how yes.
How
and
dumb
now
I am.
Now all of a sudden, a few years, this is not months, years later, fast forward, and now all of a sudden you start hearing all these rumors about Brady Tkachuk potentially, in some blockbuster move. Personally, I don't think the Sens would do it, but either way, it's fun to write about things and talk about things hypothetically here in the off season. So instead of Brady Tkachuk, because I'll ask you, if Brady Tkachuk came to this team, it would be a huge upgrade in something we need, toughness, right? Where would you play Brady Tkachuk, Beer Baron?
I'd play him on Jack's wing.
Okay. See, I think that's where the majority of Devils fans would say, hey, if you acquire Brady Tkachuk, put him there. However, because you know me, I love to play devil's advocate. 2 points. First off, Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt seemingly caught lightning in a bottle with a random line combination with Connor Brown. And it did wonders for all three players at the end of the year. A, I would say probably don't break that up. B, the reason why is if you did acquire someone like a Brady Tkachuk, I don't think he can keep up with Jack Hughes. And he's fast for a power forward, but he's essentially like this. He's like the same speed as Timo Meier. And we've seen when Timo is on that line with Jack, sometimes it doesn't go as well.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Brown is actually a much faster skater than I knew about, and looking at his metrics, it works perfect there. Brady Tkachuk, if you did acquire him, that would be a hell of a second line, though. Timo, Nico, Brady Tkachuk. However, what I will throw out there for you as an alternative, and, tell me if I'm, wacky or whatever, but you keep that top line. Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Connor Brown. Someone's car alarm is going off.
Car.
I don't know if you can hear. Yeah.
Is that your DeLorean? Is that your DeLorean back there?
The
DeLorean
somewhere.
The DeLorean needs more plutonium.
I don't know whose that is. Either way, second line, Timo, Nico, trade to Toronto for Nyes. And you put him on the second line. Who do you trade? Because they're going to want a lot. You trade Shimon Nemitz.
You're saying instead of Brady. You're saying instead of Brady.
Instead of Brady Tkachuk.
Is you bring in
This
Nyes.
is what I was. Okay. You trade Nemitz and Dawson Mercer to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you try and swindle him and get like a draft pick coming back the other way. That's like 2 first-round picks right there. I know they're probably going to ask for more, but my man Sunny is a master poker player, so I'm saying maybe he can, negotiate on down. But if you start with a package, I think, of Nemitz and Dawson Mercer, who doesn't have trade protection, is also only 24 years old and can slot right in there, and also his durability. Now you have a Timo, Nico, Matty Nyes second line. Your third line, returning Stefan Nason, Cody Glass, Grits. I don't know what the hell is going on with the fourth line yet. But now on defense, there's a bunch of guys there that I have written down. Now for defense, you got Luke lined up. You move Luke to the second pairing with Siegenthaler. Okay?
Okay.
Dilly, if he's still around, and Kovacevic go down to your bottom pairing. Your top pairing
Luke and
is Brett
Pesce
Pesce.
were really good together.
Your top pairing is Brett Pesce and Quinn Hughes. You trade. Hang on. Let me finish. You trade Dougie Hamilton, who, by all whatever reportings we see, wants to be out of New Jersey now after the incident earlier in the year with Fitzgerald. I think Minnesota would be hopefully not on his trade, no team list. You trade him to Minnesota with Hamanaho and potentially a first-round pick.
Their this year's first-round pick, because that's probably what it'll take.
Preferably 2027, because this year's first-round pick is going to be pretty high, and I'm hoping next year. Well, hey, negotiation.
Well,
you can't just lay it all out there on the table, right? Okay, and then hopefully as well as the other one, you somehow maybe get a later round draft pick in return. The Devils don't have a third-round pick the next 2 years. They have 1 first, 1 second, 1 first, 1 second. They don't have a third. So if they can somehow, get a little something, our man Sunny is, using this example of him, scouting Jesper Bratt. So I'm going to put some stock in maybe some of his, drafting capabilities in the later rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Quinn Pesce, Luke Siegs, Dilly Kovacevic. You get Edwards. Ethan Edwards is still kind of like fighting his way. Don't know what going to make with him. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then, your fourth line, I don't know what you can do.
Seamus Casey, you're throwing into a trade somewhere else. Is that what you're doing too? Because Seamus Casey's in that wing.
You don't have to.
Well, he played. Yeah, he was playing hurt. Yeah, he was playing hurt.
You can hold on to him and let him develop.
You could
and see what happens. So tell me,
but
am
he
I
also
way off?
Okay. Can I break it down a little bit? I'm going to break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So, looking at the Quinn part of this. All right. So we'll just go right to that first. And Sam, you could jump in and tell me if I'm crazy about this too. But looking at the Quinn Hughes trade, which by the way, I saw some things today that might not be off the table too. I also think it depends on how deep he gets into the playoffs, what his relationship with Billy G is. Does his playing with his brothers outweigh all those things? he has, correct me if I'm wrong, he has one more year before he's a full-time UFA, right? So he has next year until he's a full-time UFA, which it bodes better in the Devils' favor. Because if you're going to trade, you have to give up a ton to get Quinn Hughes regardless. But because he's going to be a UFA at the end of the year, you could also levy that into being like, listen, I'll give you a good package, but I'm not giving you Nemec, Casey.
All right, we'll talk about my package that I just presented to you.
Yeah, so your package is fine, okay? With the loopholes
I think my
that I
package
see
is
in
pretty
that,
good.
well, yeah, that's not never mind. I'm not going to go there. So, anyways,
I got you for a second there. Your package is pretty good.
It looks like mashed up meat. So it's like a hamburger that's been left on the floor. So you look at it. You want Dougie Hamilton. You want Hamaneo.
Dougie, because that gives you a top line D man who can work power PP1, do all that stuff. But you're not locked into
But if I'm Billy G, I'm going to come back at you. Yeah, sure. But if I'm Billy G, I'm going to come back at you and be like, why do I want this guy
another
who's older?
Young prospect and another, and then a first round.
Ooh, 2-2 Tampa. Tampa scored, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's crazy, but it's just the pieces that are going to have to be involved in getting Quinn, and then there's a lot of rumors of him wanting to extend. If he was still in Vancouver, completely different conversation. And what sucks about it is Rutherford came out and said that if he stayed until the summer, he was more than likely going to New Jersey this summer. And that sucks because you're like, wow, man, Fitzgerald screwed up that trade, which, by the way, I want to bring up something else because this has also been talked about, on multiple levels and higher podcasts than we are. Everybody's like, oh, when that Quinn Hughes situation went down, it caused a rift in the locker room. Yeah, no kidding. I said that back when it happened. I was like, I have a crazy theory that why this team is playing like garbage, besides Jack being out, I feel like that caused a huge rift in the room. And it was one of those things where there was probably guys like Dougie Hamilton that didn't want to waive his no-move clause. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a stupid take. Why would you even think that? That's so stupid. And then, 5 months later, here come the professionals, and they come out and say the same exact thing that we said. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a fan. So, going back to what you were talking about with the trade, I believe listen, Dougie 3 years ago, hell yeah, that's going to get you a lot of chips in the basket. But Dougie now, injury prone, hasn't played like a full 82, had a step back in his season this year. Production is down. By all accounts, that could be just him being unhappy. It could be him not getting the minutes that he wants to get. Maybe a change of pace or a change of scenery would do him better. Sure, but the problem is his age and his injury concern. So as another GM, that would be my first pushback to you. Okay, I know you want to get him off your books because that's a lot of money. Are we going to have to retain some of that as well? So there's a lot of pieces just around that one player. The Hamaneo, he's a young, promising player. He had a little spark, in his game this year. What is he going to pan out in a full 82? Is he going to be, a 40-point, 50-point, 60-point guy? Where is he going to land? Is he going to take that next step to be a reliable third, a third liner or even, second liner? I don't know. They did give up a lot of young talent in that trade to Vancouver to get Quinn Hughes. So you would want to try to restock their cupboards as well. So that part of it makes sense. The 2027 draft pick, yeah, it depends.
Well, I'll say if you throw in Seamus Casey, then it's the 2027. If you don't throw in Seamus Casey, then it's 2026.
Yeah, sure. But then again, Seamus didn't do us any favors, right? He had an off year. Report comes out that he was mostly injured the entire year and never got really back to 100%. And that's kind of it's a question mark because is it going to be is it going to be he's going to come into the league?
Every prospect is a question mark though, but he's like an NHL ready to start like Hamanaho, so it's you get that replacement.
No, I'm not
right there.
Not disagreeing with that. Yeah. But I don't know that one's a little bit more difficult, I think, to navigate, but it's tricky because he he only has the 1 year. I think if he's, you have to see what happens in the playoffs. If they get bounced in this first round by Dallas, it could change the narrative of him wanting to extend. Gustafson is not happy there. Who knows what's going on in that locker room? If it's a good fit for him, if he likes it there outside of Billy G, which we know he likes, compared to playing with your brothers. I mean, that's a huge.
Just tell me about the trade. Tell me about the trade.
I just said I don't know. I'm telling you what I think. I'm telling you I think I don't know if it works. I don't know if it works. I'm trying to weigh out all these options. You put all this stuff on the table. I'm not going to just shove it all in my mouth. I'm going to sit there and cut it up and eat it. I want to savor it. I want to taste it. I want to see what's going on. And to be honest with you, it tastes like crap. So there you go.
All right.
All right, Sam.
What do you say?
I know Sam wants to jump in on that too.
I don't think you're way off. I think people forget why Quinn wanted to come to New Jersey in the first place. I think he's more of an East Coast guy like his brothers. And you're out in the Midwest. You're in Minnesota. You're in no man's land.
They live in Michigan during the off season, don't they?
Yeah, but the Hughes side of the family are all from the East Coast, the dad's side. The mom's side's from Texas, from what I understand. When Quinn wanted to facilitate this trade for a couple years, Tom Fitzgerald just kept on kicking the can down the road. I don't know why it didn't happen, because Rutherford gave Fitzgerald plenty of chances, from what I understand. And, I think it's more of a personal thing why Quinn wants to come more to the East Coast. He may change his mind because of Minnesota. I don't think it has anything to do with how far they go. I think it's going to come down to, are they going to extend him at July 1st? If they can't, Bill Guerin's not going to have. I doubt he's going to have Quinn Hughes as a rental. I doubt it. He gave up a lot. He's going to get something for him, you would think.
Right. He's going to get a lot for him.
Yeah. So, and you got two parties here. You also got Nico Hischier as well. That's in the same boat. Is he going to extend? Mm-hmm. And how much? Like Nick Villano was saying about $9.5 million. I think Nico's going to want more than $9. That's like a $2 million a year pay raise, or what he's getting right now, and he's the captain of the team. I think he's going to command around 10.5 to 11 at least with New Jersey. I think hiring Sunny Mehta changed the entire dynamics here. Number one, I could never understand why the cousin of the Kachucks could never get the Kachucks here in the first place. Yeah. Jim Rutherford basically was sending you smoke signals through the media. Trade for Quinn. I'm going to make it happen. I want to start this damn rebuild. And then when Vancouver started the season so badly, they fired Tocchet and, hired a new coach, and they started off the season badly. Again, there was a deal on the table. And Tom Fitzgerald is trying to win the deal and was overthinking it. And you're too slow, too bad, so sad. Here comes Bill Guerin's like, all right, I'll take it if you're not going to make a decision.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So going back to Scotty's trade, Dougie Hamilton, what is he worth? I think he's worth something. But that $9 million is now only 2 more years. Am I correct on that contract? So we're not talking about
long-term commitment.
Yeah, we're talking about like what we have to deal with Markstrom, just another 2 years, and it's not
someone Minnesota could use on maybe a playoff run or two.
Yeah, kind of a stopgap. The Devils may have to retain salary. I don't know. That's another thing. But one thing, after studying Mehta this past week, he's a guy that's going to value making moves for undervalued players and doing it many times and trying to be 80% right. So some of these guys that we're talking about him possibly trading for, I would say it's a possibility only because they pulled off that big heist, with Calgary, Bill Zito and him a few years ago to get Matthew Tkachuk over. So I think he does have the ability to make that move, but at the same time, I'm not sure if Quinn Hughes and Nyes and Tkachuk are kind of sexy guys to bring over to they're not undervalued. They're going to get, they're going to get what they want.
Well, Nyes is signed. He's signed for long term. So bringing him in, that would man, can you imagine that second line? Nico, Timo, Matty Nyes? Whoo!
How much is he making a year?
But
7.5.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. From what I understand, is that Toronto, especially with there's a lot of question marks around Austin Matthews and what he's going to do. Toronto might want to retain Nyes because they want to start building around him, and not to say that he's a superstar level caliber person like an Austin Matthews, but he's a good cornerstone guy to have. And I would love to have him on our team for sure, but
he's got no trade protection. He's got no trade protection.
I understand that.
And the Blackhawks are already sniffing.
But they might not.
He's gonna get traded. They're gonna trade him for a lot this offseason. Everybody knows this.
You think it's gonna happen this
yeah, because Toronto is in disarray up there, and if you're questioning whether or not you should keep Austin Matthews, there is a lot wrong with your team. So they're going to try and do exactly what the Canucks did with Quinn Hughes, because they know Matty Nyes has got huge value right now. And the Blackhawks are probably going to throw a lot at him. I don't know if it's going to be doable, because, the Brady Tkachuk thing, I just can't see the Sens parting ways with him right now, especially because they made the playoffs. I see them trying to bulk the team up and give it another. Did you see, we were talking the other week about, hey, can you trust Hellebuck? Friggin' Olmark was unreal, even in a losing effort.
That poor bastard.
He
had no help.
Unreal.
He had no help.
Oh, no help. But I don't know if they're going to trade Tkachuk, but you never know. You never know. But for me, like Matty Nyes, he's a couple of years younger. He's only 23. I think Brady's 26. It's not that huge of a difference there, obviously. But you put Nemitz and you put Mercer in there. Maybe you have to sweeten it with a draft pick. I don't think a first round, but I think that's what Toronto wants. But then that gives you that toughness. It gives you that second line. Matty Nyes is also. I did some research. He's him and Brady are close skating speed wise, but Matty Nyes is definitely better burst than Brady does. Or you just go out there and you swing for Alex Tuck, in the offseason and say, screw you, Ruffalo.
That ain't happening. Not after this run. If they make it into the conference finals, that whole team is coming back.
Oh, I know.
That whole team is cemented in there. And you know what? And good for, first of all, we'll get into the playoffs and all that kind of stuff in a little bit, because I am definitely on the Buffalo bandwagon. It's just you feel good towards Lindy Ruff's end of his tenure here in New Jersey. All of us were get rid of him. He's lost a room. It's just not the same. Blah 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 blah. But me. It was never it was not Sam. That's true. It was never because he's a bad dude or he's we thought he was a crummy person. Oh, get him out of here. He's a scumbag. We all like him. We all liked Ruff, and it was just it was time to move on. But shifting gears back, speaking of coaches, shifting gears back to what Sunny has planned, we could speculate all we want about all these different types of trades that he might be willing to make or trying to make. Obviously, it takes two to tango. You have to go into each conversation with look at
and that's why I thought Toronto is looking to make deals. That's why I was just yo.
They could be.
Oh, they definitely
could be.
Are.
They could.
I mean,
but Toronto is
they need a lot of help right now, and they've got a lot of crazy contracts that if they want to start redoing some stuff, whoo boy, they need to make some deals.
I don't know if Toronto wants to be a team that's built around Willie Nylander. I don't know if Austin Matthews decides to move on, and
if they have to blow it up, then they'll blow it all up. They won't.
But if they have to blow it up, they have to blow it up every single thing. They have to get rid of Nylander. They have to get rid of Nyes. They have to get rid of Matthews. Actually, they don't have to get rid of Nyes, but
no. I mean, well, Nyes is going to get them a great haul because he's a high value player, and he's exactly what we need. Another like young power forward. He signed for the long term. I think he signed for like the next 5. I think it's the next 5 years he signed for at 7.5. Whew. And he's got some skating speed. So he could theoretically go up there and play with Jack and not look like Palat out there on the ice. But honestly, I think Connor Brown does a great job with him. But there's going to be
realistically,
Connor Brown
isn't. Yeah, Connor Brown's not a top-line center or a second-line center, or a top-line winger or second-line winger. Like, Connor Brown's a nice player, and that line worked out. But, I mean, like, realistically, you would like him to be on your third or fourth and not have to worry about him being in a top 6 pairing. Like, top six.
The way I was looking at it, I got Glass, Stefan Nason, and Grits on that third line. So I like the way that looks as a third line. And it spreads the offense out too. It leaves Grits down there.
Metalander just said that Kucherov just got trucked.
Oh, did he? I didn't see it.
It's gonna be big time.
Oh,
big time
yeah,
hit.
he got pushed from behind. That wasn't good. That's what you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Ooh, his knee. Ooh, man. Yikes.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to see that too much. But either way, but I don't know. So I was just thinking about some trades today. Once Sam had texted us early and said there was a lot of Brady Tkachuk talk rumors out there. I was like, all right, let's think outside the box and let's think a different way. What else could the Devils do? Because the Devils were like in the rumor mill tied to Matty Nyes at the trade deadline. So, they were looking in there.
Yeah, for sure. And but that's the problem too, is anything that happened in the past now has to be kind of scrapped and thrown into the garbage, and you're looking towards the future. Not to say that they won't be in that conversation again, but like anything that Fitzgerald was doing is now kind of a moot point because we got somebody brand new who's got a different look at it, and like he might look at Nyes and be like, yeah, nice player, but doesn't fit our model of what we need.
Maybe his agent knows Sunny, and he's like, oh, hey, yo, Sunny, you over here now. You over here with them. I thought you down the floor. You over here. Oh, hey,
we want to make
back to Jersey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nice spray tan. Nice spray tan. We were talking about that offline about us getting a spray tan. Anyway, so yeah, I look at the possibilities of what he's able to do. I mean, he's definitely handcuffed. We talked about it last week. He has his restrictions, right? There's going to be a lot of juggling of things. Even though Dougie Hamilton is saying like, hey, I kind of want to get out by his actions, not participating in the exit interviews, not really talking to the media at the end,
Minnesota's
declining.
If you got like 2 years, like they got a good team, like they can make a playoff run.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying Minnesota, like you're not sending them to Siberia. Like you have to make sure that it's unfortunate that he has more leverage in this conversation than we do, which is probably what held up the whole Quinn Hughes problem in the first place. He has the leverage, and he's going to say to you, hey, I want to leave, but here's my short list. It could be another, you see a lot of trades to like Long Island because there's a lot of guys that have, pretty firm roots in the state, and they're like, he likes living here. He trains in the offseason in the Prudential Center. Like he is one of these guys is always around the team like during the summertime.
Yeah, I know I said this like, like he's the one guy who like really went in and embraced New Jersey as his home. He would do like all the social media stuff. He would
All
do
the social
everything.
media
And
stuff.
then they're like, hey, why don't you, thank you for that. Why don't you waive your no trade clause and go to Minnesota? What do you say, kid?
Yeah.
It's like,
hey, you want to go to Vancouver?
yeah, of all
these guys want to play with their brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Of all the guys, like he waves that New Jersey flag, more than any of them. And it really sucks like how that all played out. I'm all with, like, I think he deserved to get benched. I'm glad Sheldon Keefe sat him down because it lit a fire under his ass, and he played like we would expect Dougie Hamilton to play for the remainder of the season. I don't know if he was as upset about that. Maybe he was.
But didn't that happen after though?
Everything
didn't that happen after?
It was all going on at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think it was the stuff internal in the locker room, because it's just like, hey, why don't you go take a hike to Minnesota so we could get Jackie Boy's brother in here? It's just like, what? As a player, you negotiated those rights. You got those for your career and what you've done, and like you've earned all that. So for someone to just come up to you and be like, hey, you're out of here, wave your no trade, like.
No, I get it. Like, I get it 100%. And then you have the other side of it, like you said before, like everything that he was doing for the team is like, dude, like I was doing all this extra stuff. I don't know if he gets paid for that. Like, I don't know if he's getting paid to do the social media crap. Like, I don't know if he's getting paid to do the promo stuff. Like, maybe he is. I don't know if there's an incentive to be like, yeah, here's a couple grand. Go put on the costume and act like an idiot. Like, there's a lot of things that he.
Yeah, what do you think he was doing all summer when he was working out at the Prudential Center? He's probably filming all those things like all summer long. Like he was. Doing everybody a solid.
Yeah. So I see it from his.
But
point
I still
of view
agree he should have got like sat down. Like I think like the sitting of him
for sure. His play was yeah. Agreed,
and
100%.
Like I said, like he played lights out after that, for what we would expect from Dougie Hamilton. Like he was getting points, and like you're like, holy crap, where's this Dougie been? Starting to look at the score sheet. It's just like getting, popping those assists off, getting those apples.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It's one of these, in years past, it felt like the last couple of years, like the team coming into the offseason, it was like, all right. We're pretty solidified. Like we have a lot going on, but like we know what we need. And, Fitzy made this little move here. He brings in like a Paul Cotter, and people freaking out because they traded Holtz. But look at what happened to Holtz. Like he can't even scratch the Vegas Knights freaking lineup.
Yeah.
There's always these trades where it's, and people have that like 2020 vision on it, like, or the hindsight vision on it, like, freaking we traded to get Foley, and look at how much we gave up to, we traded to get Markstrom, look at how much he gave up for it. And it's like, yeah, but then you look at the assets that he gave up, and it's like, how much of an impact are these guys really making? Like Akira Schmid, sure, he's also one of those guys that like, you look at, what Blackwood's doing, and not to take away from their game or anything like that, because we saw firsthand what Akira could do in the playoffs, and like how he stood on his head against the Rangers a couple years ago. But these guys are also playing on teams that are
before
pretty, Wedgwood. I'm sorry, Wedgwood, and they swept. By the way, they freaking swept the Kings. Not a surprise in that series whatsoever. Like the Avalanche are, I think, if I was in the West, I'd be pretty scared, because the Avalanche. Cemented they put their foot down and were like, yeah, we're the best. We're the best in this town. And it wasn't just because they played the Kings, like,
oh yeah. And the only other two teams that could probably beat them are playing each other right now, with Minnesota and Dallas. So it's just like, it's going to be a tough one to get through anyone on the West.
Unless a sneaky team like the Oilers, maybe they could take care of them. Maybe the Oilers, because they've been doing it for the last couple of years, and like maybe they just run out of gas too. Like the Oilers, I saw this great tweet. The Oilers are switching back to Jari, and somebody was like, "That's like taking a dump in your pants and changing your shirt. Like it doesn't make sense." Like so like the Oilers are who knows what's going to happen to them, but the Avs look they look like world beaters. Like they look like absolute world beaters. And like the Kings weren't going to beat them. Nobody in their right mind was picking LA to win that series. And I don't think most people were picking it to go past 6 games. Like I don't think anybody's picking it to go past 5. Like,
I
LA
did.
was going to win one.
Actually,
you did?
Yeah.
Well, we all make mistakes, Sammy. We all make
the
mistakes.
Oilers are not. I mean, they're not doing so well against Anaheim right now. So they got to worry about that first. I mean,
Anaheim's a sneaky team. But like, I actually want to pull this up right now because I was looking at it before we got on.
What if instead of Dougie sends
they're down 2-1.
I don't know, Pete, if that. Well, see, the idea is with Quinn, he's obviously your PP1, and there's no really equal for that in the league. However, Mr. Hamilton can also operate as the PP1, has a very, known for his strong offensive side. Is someone you can pair up with a good stay-at-home defender and would probably, be able to work some magic not in the short term, not in the long term, because and that's the whole thing. Dougie's only got a 2-year contract, but or 2 more years on his contract, but you've seen that plenty of times where it's like, oh, they thought he was out of gas, and he gets traded over to a playoff team at the end of the year, and they have a little bit of run. Can Dougie do that for 2 years? I don't know, but I think if you take him out of the equation, I don't know if Siegenthaler I think you're going to have to add more like draft picks and stuff like that then instead, because Dougie has like that, that higher end talent, albeit more on the offensive side than Siegenthaler. Obviously, no one can touch Quinn. Yeah. I mean, he is just poof.
By the way,
he's like dancing out there on the ice. Like, it's just wild, some of the moves that he puts on.
Yeah. I want to just say, Jay Snow was saying Anaheim's young core looks so good. What sucks about that? Well, first of all, Anaheim has a great balance of like young and veteran. Like the veteran defense that they have, like a lot of the guys that they have on that team, like it is like a very good balance of like young and old. They're a sneaky team that could do some damage, but are they going to be a team that can get out of this second round? Maybe if Gudas like kills somebody, maybe. But what sucks about it, or what sucks about Anaheim, and what sucks about San Jose, what sucks about Utah, is we were all in the same kind of boat around the same time, and we were all in that rebuild phase, like in a similar era, in a similar time as these other teams, and at one point we were like, man, we far surpassed them, and maybe we did. Like we started making playoffs, and like we had a good thing going. But now you're looking at it, and sustainability becomes the word that comes to my mind, because you got these teams like San Jose. D Media.
Woo! Thank you, D Media. The only two things Suddy needs to be concerned with right now is how he is bringing Quinn and Brady to New Jersey. Everyone is expendable besides Jack and Luke by association. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm, like I said, are you
willing to get rid of Brat? Are you willing to get rid of Brat?
No, I would prefer to do what I said. I would rather bring in Matty Nyes than Brady Tkachuk, personally, just from looking at some stats and some things like that. I'd rather bring in Nyes, to be quite honest. I think if Brady does go, I mean, I got to look at his contract, but I'm sure he's got some sort of 10 team, 20 team. I don't know if he has a no movement clause. I'd have to look, but he's going to have a lot of say in that. And I mean, he's probably going to want to go play with Big Bro as well down in Florida.
Well,
or maybe
his wife is from New Jersey. His wife is from New Jersey.
Great.
Just saying, maybe she wants to be closer to
home.
The
Rangers, yeah.
No, don't you dare say that
instead.
How dare you? How dare you?
Maybe he goes to Vegas. Who knows? Him and Eichel.
All right, so Jay Snow just said I'd trade I'd trade Bratt. But what are you going to get for Bratt? And Sunny Mehta, don't forget, Sunny Mehta has a soft spot in his heart for Bratt because he was like, I was going to choose him third overall. Like this kid's. So this, I think he's got Bratt kind of like in his mind. I don't know. I'm not saying I would get rid of Bratt, and I've been saying this for years because Jesper Bratt is one of those players where like his ceiling is pretty high when he wants it to be. He does disappear at points in the season, especially when Jack is not around. Like Bratter, when we need him to do the most, he sometimes just kind of goes on this like, I won't do much. I'm just going to do enough.
Well, we need Jack to stay healthy too. That's a big.
Well, that's the number one thing. Yeah, that's the number one thing. But I mean, if you're going to trade Bratt, is that a guy that you would try to, going back to your Matty Nice trade? Is that somebody that you would throw into that conversation? Because maybe you have to give less.
No.
Then you have to give
less. I would use
up.
Draft picks over Jesper Bratt. I would use draft picks over Jesper Bratt. Because I'd like to see Jack and Jesper get a full healthy season together. See what they can do. Like I said, I thought they worked really well with Connor Brown because he can actually skate with them. And there's not many in the league that can. So to have someone out there who can be in the spots that they want them to be in at the time they want them to be in, it makes a world of difference. And I mean, Jack Hughes was, if he wasn't, he was second. After the break, I do believe he was like first in the league in points. Yeah, or he was like second in the league in points, but he was just racking it up once that line got put together.
Yeah, and by the way,
it makes a difference.
D, that's a great point. D said, bottom line, who performed when Jack got hurt? And the answer to that is nobody. Nobody stepped up and said anything. And remember, hey, Stephen Herschel Walker Golf, what's going on, buddy? He said Bratt needs to be on a different line than Jack, in my opinion. I don't know if he needs to be on a different line than Jack. Him and Nico seem to work out sometimes, but then again, same thing. Like he relies a lot on Jack, and he relies a lot on those. They work well together. They do work really well together. And like you said, like when
they play at a really fast
healthy, and seeing them in a healthy Jack all season with Bratt would be incredible. They would probably set career high in points. I mean, shoot, when Jack came back from the Olympic break, he was, if it was an 82 game season, he was on like 146 points. Where he would finish up or whatever. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So 146 point pace. Thank you. On pace for it. So like Jack has the potential to be that player where it's like, all right, well, he is the game changer. He is the tone setter. He's going to be the driving force on the offense. But here's the problem. We all know he gets hurt. He gets hurt, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. He gets hurt, and that sucks. Sunny, here's another thing that he's going to have to look at. How can this team perform? Because Sheldon Keefe said, and we said it last week, Sheldon Keefe said it at the presser, like, if Jack's out, we can't fall apart. That's unacceptable.
That's definitely.
And that's also has to be a concern for Sunny Mehta, because you got to look at it and you got to be like, all right, well, if we lose Jack for any period of time, whether it be 10 games or more, we need to make sure that we don't take a step back. The team is humming. We're in a playoff spot. We're second in the Metro, or at one point we're first in the league. And then all of a sudden Jack gets hurt, and it's like, pew, nosedive. It's not even like a slow decline either. It's like, oh, we are just garbage now. And that's not sustainable hockey. That is not, because what happens in the playoffs? What if Jack gets trucked in the playoffs? Season over? Series over? You know what I mean? Like, you can't, if you get to the playoffs and he gets injured, what the hell are you going to do? You're going to just pack it up and be like, man, we made it. We made it to the first round. Carolina got our number again. No. He's got to build a team that's going to be able to compete regular season with or without Jack, and he has to build a team that's going to be not fun to play against and going into playoffs. That's where, and agreed. Nyes, Kachuk, all these kind of guys, those are the guys that are not fun to play against. The Devils don't have enough of that. They don't have enough. Paul Cotter was, And then this year it just seemed like they're like, hey, put on these mittens and go patty cake people out in the corner. Like, he didn't seem like the same player. And whether that's some crazy notion that was a directive given from the GM down to the bench, like, don't let him fight, don't let the boys fight. We want to be, family fun here. Or if that was the coach being like, hey, we need you on the ice and not in the box. Whatever no, that's not his style. He led the league in hits. He came to the team and he broke the record for hits. So they need to there's a lot of tinkering that needs to happen, that's for sure.
Hello, Sam.
Nothing.
Oh, we're getting towards the end of the podcast.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Ready?
Timo is our
we're
Brady.
ready for some final thoughts. Is that where we're at?
Well, yeah. I mean, Beer said he had to be out by 10.
Okay,
way to put that out in the air. Man, oh, man.
Yeah.
Make me look bad. That's why he didn't introduce me in the beginning. He's like, oh, he's got a hard deadline. I'm just gonna say breeze right over his name. All right, fine. I'll get into my final thought here. It is going to be interesting to see what happens with the coach. There hasn't been any real movement or any kind of outward statement that I'm aware of. Maybe I missed something.
What,
I
Sheldon
missed
Keefe?
it in the presser. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Well, yeah. That's what the assumption is, right? That he's coming back this year.
Well, didn't somebody say
But how
something?
long-
Is like, or who said that? Is like, he was at the press conference. You think he would have? I don't know. That'd be an interesting one.
That'd be weird. Imagine that. He was at the presser and he's like, all right, thank you guys. Have a great night. And he goes, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Well, I just got something to tell you.
Shelly, can you stay after for a minute? We got to talk.
Yeah. He's got a cardboard box with all his stuff in it. Here's your nameplate. Your parking pass has been revoked and your card doesn't work, so don't try to get back in.
Actually, wait a minute. I think I mixed it up. I think that was just like someone talking about that, not Sunny. I thought for a second Sunny said that to a report. It's not. It was someone like, oh, he wouldn't have been at Sunny's presser if he was gonna,
No,
not
but
come
that
back.
doesn't
Not
make sense.
Sonny's,
But listen,
I thought it was Sunny saying that in a like an ant. I got it mixed up. My bad.
No, it's okay. So my final thought is it's going to be interesting, regardless of what happens with the offseason, is what's going to happen to Sheldon Keefe. How much runway is he going to have in a season? If they tank in the first quarter of the season, I can imagine that he's going to be gone really quickly. It's going to be interesting to see how he functions as a GM in that regard. The one thing that Tom Fitzgerald did is he gave a lot of leeway to the coaches. He gave Lindy Ruff a long, long road before he finally gave him the axe. There's a history of guys like, getting that opportunity to really prove themselves. Now, Sheldon Keefe, we'll put it this way, at the end of the season, the team did seem like they were playing for him. In my opinion, obviously, we all can agree that he's coming back, right? By all counts, him being at the presser, there hasn't been any kind of like outward statement, even though there was a statement by Sunny Mehta saying that he will evaluate every aspect of the team, including the coaches. I do remember that. So does that mean they're going to make this move? Does it mean they're not going to make this move? I don't know, because there's a lot of people saying that there's a speculation that they could move on from Keefe. Regardless of what happens, whatever coach they have and whatever team they bring in, the identity of this team needs to be different. So if you're keeping Keefe, and that's what you're going to tell me you want to do, then he's got to find a way to get this team to bump back into that physical realm or whatever they need to do. Anyways.
Yeah. No, and I think, Pete, you nailed it too. I mean, I know Sam Wu has said this countless times that it does feel like Mr. Keefe was not making all the decisions, and that there were some phones ringing from up above saying what decisions should be made for game time. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see what Sheldon Keefe does. Take the gloves off. Here we go. So, I would expect he does, but comeback, but I think you're right in saying that if this team gets off to a horrid start and they're like 3-15 and 3-15-2 or something like that at the 20 game mark,
God, please don't.
Well, all right,
Like
that's,
the Mets?
that's an exaggeration.
Like
I
the
know.
Mets?
If they're the
like
Mets.
the Mets.
They're not going to be holding on. Carlos is. Alex Cora got fired too, so maybe they'll just flip flop.
Yeah.
We'll bring in Cora. Either way, I think he's not going to have. I think he's going to have a short leash if they really struggle in those first 10 to 15 games. I wouldn't be surprised if that gun gets fired there, and that's it. Old Yellard. Sorry, that's what I was. Man, I can't think tonight.
I know.
I was thinking. I'm like, what is that? The gun behind the barn. What was
that dog?
Like,
what's that dog that got shot in the head?
That's Sam.
Old Yellard.
Old Yellard. Yeah, he took the Rangers behind the barn a couple years back, and Old Yellard him. That's a listen. That's a classic saying now on Devils After Dark. You get Old Yellard.
Yeah.
That's
I just want to say one last thing. Metalander said this all may be Blitzer decision, like a Blitzer's decision, and we've talked about that before. And then Maria brought up, agreed, Meadow. Hence, no player or president of hockey operations yet, which is another
ho
because Sam. Oh, can you? I don't know if you want to say it. The question that you would have asked Sunny Mehta about that. You and I had that conversation the other day.
Oh yeah, if I was in the press conference, I would have been direct to Sunny. So Sunny, do you have a dual role as president of hockey operations? If not, if there is going to be a president of hockey operations, will you play a role in finding that person as your boss? Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, nobody really directly asked. They asked about other stuff. Some of them were good questions at that presser. That's what I would have asked right off the bat if I was at that press conference. I guess it's my final thought right now. I just want to actually piggyback off of Metalander and Maria. That's my concern, that you may have hired Sunny, the best new hot GM prospect out there, but it's going to be the same old Devils if you continue with this organizational structure that they've had since Ray Shero, when Lou Lamoriello left as the president of hockey operations, and then Ray Shero had that dual role, and then Tom Fitzgerald had that dual role. And that's what I'm afraid of, that you've got an ownership group that doesn't know how to win in any of their professional sports franchises. And that's my main concern, that it doesn't matter who you bring in, as long as, if Sunny Mehta is going to be micromanaged to the point where he's a puppet, which I felt that Tom Fitzgerald was a scared puppy at times at his press conferences, just reiterating what the owner's telling him to. That's what it felt like. This could be another long 5 years. Hopefully it's not like that. Hopefully Sunny, as of now, I think he just reports to David Blitzer. And I'm not liking that at all. I think somebody else should, which would be Sunny's boss. That's my opinion, of course. So that's my final thought.
Sam's looking for the job.
Yeah, well, I got my application for NJ.com, in last Sunday, which is why I wasn't.
Cover.
What's that?
It's actually president of hockey operations for New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
.com.
Maybe I should put in the application to David Blitzer. I deal with micromanaging owners all the time. I'm very good at it.
If this was like the 80s or 90s, you could take out an ad in the paper, but
Well, there is a billboard across the street. You know,
Okay.
yeah, there's a billboard near the parking lot across the street where
All right.
across the street from the parking garage. Maybe I'll take an ad.
So we're going to have a charity donation, a GoFundMe to take over the billboard.
Sam Wu for president of hockey operations for the New Jersey Devils. Can you imagine? Why don't we why don't we fly a helicopter with the sign as well over Championship Plaza? I'm sure it'll get their attention.
We got to get like the goofiest picture of you as well, you know? Just plastered on that
giving a big dumb thumbs up.
Yeah.
He knows the team, you know. All right, boys.
We'll have to start that next season. Maybe we'll have to start a billboard GoFundMe.
To be Sonny's new boss.
Oh man.
Oh,
That would be too good.
yeah.
All right. Oh damn! Edmonton's up 2-0 already. Sheesh. The
Wow.
excitement is
So
going
much
on.
for that young core. So much for that young core.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting out of here. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. Also, Morning Woo tomorrow. And as the off season continues. Thank you to everybody tuning in. And I'll see you next time. Until next time, let's go Devils.